Hey, it's Jack here, and today we're in San Diego. We're going to tour the USS Midway aircraft carrier. Let's go on aboard and check things out. Well, I made it aboard. There was a big tour group in front of me. It took a little bit to get on the ship, but they do have a free audio tour. I'll be doing that as we go along, and I'll tell you guys what's going on as I hear on the audio tour. We're actually on board now. Of course, the aircraft carrier was named after the Battle of Midway. This timeline here walks us through December 1941, from Pearl Harbor was bombed, all the way up through to the Battle of Midway. And here we are, June 4th, 1942. Walks right through the Battle of Midway, and with the last screen over here talking us about the USS Midway and its legacy. It's commissioned in September 10th, 1945, and today it's museum ship. This Devastator plane is a complete replica. It's made of foam. It was a prop for a movie, but they relocated it here, and this is the only non-functioning aircraft on this tour. Everything else was a functioning aircraft at one point and is real, but this one here is a Hollywood prop. All these, what look like rivets, are actually just thumbtacks, and this Devastator is made of foam. This is a Dauntless dive bomber, and these were pretty deadly during the war. They were used to take out the Japanese aircraft carriers in the Battle of Midway. Over here on this side we have a Wildcat. This is a airplane I did a model of as a kid, and I always thought it was kind of an ugly jug looking fighter plane, but it held its own until more advanced aircraft came out. So the hangar deck has plenty of aircraft here. This is another one I remember doing a model of as a kid, and this was a training aircraft. We'll see if my memory suits me well. And there it is, S&G pilot trainer. Yeah, I remember building that model as a kid. The model I did as a kid, if I remember correctly, was actually orange in color, but all the other markings looked identical. Just where it's yellow, it was orange. What's neat about the aircraft carrier planes is they fold up the wings to allow more aircraft. And this is a F4u4 Corsair. This is another model I did as a kid. And if you're familiar with the show Baa Baa Black Sheep, this was the fighter that was featured on that TV series. You've got this fighter cockpit for an F8 Crusader. It's going up inside here. See what this is like. Well, here we go. Go ahead and sit down inside of here, and here we are. Got all sorts of knobs and dials. It just looks cool. Opposite the entrance to the hangar deck, they have what's called the Jet Shop and Cafe 41. Name of the cafe is only fitting since we're on CV 41. And if you eat at Cafe 41, you can go outside and enjoy the sunshine right out there. Here's a transparent model of the USS Midway. And what I thought was interesting was this diagram down here that shows how they modified the flight deck as it was originally in 1945 to 1955 to a more angled version, and then again they modified it in 1970 to be the configuration it is today. Speaking of that flight deck, let's go ahead and head on up to the flight deck. Elevators to our left, stairs to our right. I think we'll take the stairs, check out this flight deck. Coming up to the flight deck, this was pretty cool. We've probably all seen these pods on the side of cruise ships or modern naval vessels such as this one. And what's inside that pod? What's survival gear? You've got a raft and a bunch of survival stuff to get you through. As we come up to the flight deck, we got a vast assortment of aircraft, as to be expected. This is a Sky Warrior, properly known as the Whale. That's for electronic warfare, and it's a tanker. Here's an F9F Panther fighter. Folded wings are up to make more room for more aircraft here on the flight deck. This one's called an F9F Cougar. So what they did here, this is for photo reconnaissance. They took the original F9F and they swooped the wings back a little bit. And this one's the F9F 8P. You're fighting submarines. You got the S3 Viking, anti-submarine warfare. That's what this baby looks like right here. It's an attack plane. It's called the A4 Skyhawk. And that's called a Black Hawk right there. Anyways, back to the topic at hand. This is A4 Skyhawk. And it's got the markings from the USS Oriskany. USS Oriskany was made into an artificial reef several years ago. But one of its planes here still has its markings. This is a T2 Buckeye pilot trainer. Looks like we can go up there and look inside this one. Let's go ahead and do that. They have it where you can go in and sit down. And this is what it looks like inside of there. Here we're presented with a C1 Trader cargo transport. And this is an A1 Sky Raider. This is an attack plane. Here's an FA-18 Hornet. This is an RA-5 Vigilante reconnaissance plane. It says it was originally designed as a supersonic nuclear bomber, but submarines had been assigned that mission. And the A4 entered its service in '64. Due to its excellent performance, they made it into a reconnaissance aircraft. It's here, the focal point, center of the deck, is an F4 Phantom. This is another plane I did a model as a kid. The one I did, the markings didn't look as cool as this one has, but it was okay. Over here on this side we have an F-14 Tomcat. Anybody who's seen the movie Top Gun, that is the original, would be familiar with this aircraft. This is the one the pilots flew in that movie. They're in the process of restoring this aircraft right now. They got guys over there on the far side working, and they've got all sorts of parts here on the ground. You can see the canopy's been removed, but eventually this will be fully restored. This is called an HO3S utility helicopter. I always thought these things were the ugliest things ever. This is called the HUP Retriever, and if I'm not saying it correctly, don't hit me on that one. I'm just reading what's on the sign. This is an H-34 Seabat anti-submarine helicopter. And next to that we have the SH-2 Sea Sprite utility helicopter. This one we can get a little bit closer to. See the markings and such. They also have some mannequins in there, showing you what the flight crew would look like. On this side of the ship, This is actually on the other side of the water there. They got this large statue of the infamous photo taking in World War II. Got the sailor kissing the nurse. Well, this is the E-2 Hawkeye airborne early warning system. Got that big radar dish there on top. That's your eyes in the sky right there. Here's another plane model I did as a kid. It's an A7 Corsair 2. I did the original F4u4 Corsair model. Then I went to the store and I saw a modern Corsair, and I just had to build that one too. This is a real thing though. This is a A7 Corsair 2. This is the SH-60 Seahawk. Over here we have a Huey gun shift. Got the pilots in the front seat there. Here's the door gun. And there's the other items, the missiles and the guns. This is cool. They pulled that back so you can see what the engine looks like. This is a CH-46 Sea Knight. I flew in several of these on the back side, jumping out at my time in. Oh, they got this open where we can go inside. Let's go inside and take a look-see. Oh, this is the view I remember. I'd be sitting in one of these bench seats. They'd drop the ramp out the back there and we'd go running out and set up a perimeter. Oh, they're happy to see me here, so they're applauding as I come on. And coming off that Sea Knight, we get another view of the sailor kissing the nurse. Well, we're at the front end of the flight deck now. Looking back, there's a lot of re-enlistments going on right now, so I got myself out of the way up here. I'm going to go look off the front end of the ship. You can see here it looks like they've got another re-enlistment that's going to happen here, or some sort of presentation. We're going to go as far forward as we can, and we can look back towards San Diego. Off in the distance there is an aircraft taking off from Lindbergh Field. Over there in the distance, that's the Coronado Bridge that connects San Diego to Coronado Island. Well, this is an EA-6B Prowler electronic warfare plane. This information tells us about how to read the flags on the ship. Each flag indicates a letter, and if we read over here, I've deciphered this as a Midway Magic, and let's see how correct we are. There it is, Midway Magic. And if you're familiar with the movie Top Gun, you saw a guy that looks like this. He's called the shooter.
Yeah, that's not surprising. We're not.
I wonder if this guy gets tired. He's in that position for quite a while. The next thing we're going to do is the island tour, and that's this way. We're going to start here with Admirals and Captains Country, and we're just going to follow the arrow and see where we go. Takes us down these stairs. Watch your head. They got this sharp looking Marine right here, all ready to go. Looks like he's done some good stuff. He's got 2 NAMs right there. Just keep following this along. Got another sharp dressed Marine. Well, for some reason the audio tour quit working. It's not giving me anything, although there's audio stuff all over here. It's just giving me a flashing green light. So don't know what's going on. It's giving me information on the flight deck, but down here not so much. So it's pretty much ad lib because there's nothing down here indicating where we are, but just by looking at it you can figure out that this is probably the captain's quarters. So let's just take a look around. So he's got these chairs and this nice couch and a table there, lamp, and this is the brass bed there. And I like the old time radio they've got in there. And actually I stand corrected, this would be an admiral's quarters. Admiral would stay on this ship as a flagship. The Admiral commanding the Carrier Task Force, the Midway, had a personnel staff of staff officers enlisted men to assist him. The Chief of Staff manages the staff by coordinating the planning and functions of the task force operations. So that's what this guy would do. He's being over here. You have your own mess. They have the captain's / admiral's mess right here. Have their own kitchen. Comes out here, and then they get served accordingly. Here's a nice looking flight jacket. This is combat operations. I believe that's what it's called. Again, I'm just going off memory. But this is the heart of the ship when it comes to combat operations and all communications coming back in related to. And we can see here CNN broadcast from Desert Shield, Desert Storm. It'll continue on with our ad lib tour since our thing's not working. This is officers' quarters down here. And more of the same way down that passageway. It'll follow the arrows. Here we go. Oh, here's a blast from the past. Teletype machines. This is the radio control room. That passageway is closed down there, as is this passageway down there. Here's another Marine. Looks like he's got some white on his nose. But here are the commanding officers over the years for the USS Midway. Okay, so this is the captain's quarters. What we saw before was the admiral's quarters. This is the captain's quarters now. This is his bedroom here. Again, another brass bed. Personal toilet.
If just one Midway sailor fails, we all fail.
And this would be his quarters here.
Imagine commanding an aircraft carrier and being solely responsible for the safety of so many sailors in one of the most dangerous environments you can find anywhere. It's a humbling responsibility, one that I'll value for the rest of my life. Well, I'll have to finish my paperwork here. Flight ops are about to start. I hope you'll think about the extraordinary dedication of my crew as you continue your tour. They make Midway magic every day. Thanks for coming aboard.
The captain's mess here. And just like the Admiral, he has his own mess where they can make whatever he wants and then send it to him. That brings us to the Air Transfer Office, or commonly known as ATO. This is the air terminal for the aircraft carrier and the battle group. Sailors assigned to this space were responsible for the coordination of passenger transfers to and from the ship, including mail, supply, and escort of dignitaries and distinguished visitors.
Good morning. How are you? Welcome to the USS Midway in general, and specifically where you are now in primary flight control or naval tri-flight. Very self-respecting airport.
This is the chart house.
The Midway has a history of all three of the charts you see here. First one is Houston.
And this is the view from the island. That's where we just were flight operations right there. Well, it was pretty cool walking around the island. They took us up to flight control, the captain's bridge, and also the small captain's quarters just off the side of the captain's bridge. And that tour takes about 20 minutes to go through. I filmed what I could. There was a lot of people, so it was really tight, so it was hard to get some good angles. Let's continue our tour. Over here we've got the different colors for the flight deck. Yellow's for taxiing and around. Purple are in charge of refueling. Brown oversees the maintenance of the aircraft. White are the safety observers. Red are responsible for handling the munitions like bullets, bombs, missiles, rockets, etc. on that. The green jerseys for catapult and arresting gear machinery. Blue jerseys operate the tow tractors and aircraft elevators. And silver protective suits are worn by rescue personnel who save trapped aircrew members. Okay, now we're going to go below decks. We are. This is the Chow Line, and this is how it would be. You go through and get your food, grab your stuff, and then away you go. And this is where you eat your chow down here. This is also where you get your drinks, your box of cereal for breakfast. Here's your ship's post office right here. Need a mail package home? Well, you'd hand it to one of these fine guys here, and they'd take care of that for you. This is your machine shop here.
Oh, this is
engine room straight ahead. That's where we're gonna go now. Head on down these stairs, check out the engine room. There's one of the air conditioning plants. This is one of the 4 engine rooms on the ship. And in the Navy, they call their drinking fountains scuttlebutts. You may be familiar with the term scuttlebutt, meaning a rumor. It came from the Navy as people would spread rumors around the drinking fountain, aka scuttlebutt, because that's what it was called. Anyways, this is inside one of the 4 engines. More of a cutaway view of that engine there. And here's your controls down here in the engine room.
But it's interesting, maybe they got the
Our tour continues on up the stairs. That was the engine room. And here's the main engine control. Our tour continues up these stairs. Away we go. Well, let's go to the ship's brig. And here this explains about the brig, if you were unfamiliar. When you do bad things, this is where you end up, the ship's brig. And this big area here, where you would be locked up and confined. And you'd have a toilet, a sink, and in essence, 5 people could be in here. Now this is crew berthing, and it's tight. There's basically just enough room to get one of these lockers open, but you'd have 3 people stacked on top of each other. It would be stowed underneath your bunk, aka rack, like this here.
Okay, so this was the 3.
And that's all the space you have on a ship. You have to learn to fold your clothes, and they teach you that in boot camp, how to get all that gear to fit appropriately. And then you have this privacy curtain that would go over, keep it dark, but you got people coming in and out of here all the time. And this is what it would look like at night. The red lights would be on so people could see. At the same time, it's not too bright where you can sleep also. Our tour continues this way. A ship could hold 4,500 crew members. That's like a floating city. On this side of the mess deck, it takes us down to sick bay and dental. And here it says main medical. Please remove your hat. This would be your operating room right here. This is your inpatient ward. Be just like any hospital. They have an ICU also. You can see we have a patient here. There's a corpsman helping out. And this is just your inpatient ward for sick or injured Marines and sailors. As we look around here. Now this is going to be your lab and your pharmacy all in one. They've got the lab on the left side obviously, and the right side you have your pharmacy. And back here is the pharmacy. You see a pharmacy tech, corpsman, sitting there filling prescriptions. And this is the storage for the medications. Now I don't know underway if those beakers would actually be on the deck like that, but they just put them down there. Ship's not going anywhere. This will be just a routine exam room. Sailor or Marine comes in with an ailment, corpsman takes care of them, medical officer signs off on the paperwork, or independent duty corpsman, and away they go. And this is a x-ray room here.
Was injured.
And this is the medical officer here. This is sick call, where you come up if you sore throat, what have you, not feeling well, you come up here and get checked in. And most likely you'd sit in one of these seats waiting to be called, and you get yourself taken care of. And we'll go ahead and go off to the dental department. Oh, this is a nice sound. The grinder sound would be your dental exam room. There's more of the same. These are with the mannequins showing it be like to get treated. Mind you, these guys are doing their work on your teeth while the ship is rocking and rolling. So I give these guys all the credit in the world for taking fine care of your teeth while you're at sea. 100 years of U.S. Navy aircraft carriers, 1922 to 2022, which is the current year. They show you all the evolution of the aircraft carrier. Here's an interesting exhibit. Uniforms for Navy enlisted men. And they go back all the way to 1775. And if you didn't know your Navy and Marine Corps ranks, got this chart right here that explains it all to you. This takes us through the galley. And if you're on the serving side, this is what you do to serve your fellow sailors and Marines. If you are on the grill, there's where you'd be cooking your burgers or sausage or bacon. Then on this side here we can see This sailor from the backside's cooking up some breakfast. There's some eggs and some omelets and some pancakes. This is something I remember from mess halls in the Navy, as well as working at Disneyland. These big vats where they'd make soup, salad dressing, what have you, right in these big vats here. And flashing back to Disneyland, yeah, this is the same type of vat that you'd make the salad dressing in for sure. And here we have the ship's chapel. And this is the chaplain's quarters here. This is the Exos executive officer's stateroom. And he gets this lush quarters here. And this is where the XO would sleep. Not quite a brass bed, but still a nice, comfortable mattress, most likely. This is presentation silver service of the USS Toledo. This is your senior officer's wardroom. This is the officer's wardroom here. There's their tribute table for POW/MIA. Here's your ship's barber shop. And our tour continues. We will go down our ship's laundry. We can see here that they've got these uniforms nicely pressed. And this is washing machines and dryers for the ship's laundry. So part of the laundry, this is the press area where they press the uniforms out. Here's a nice setup with the mannequin showing you what it would look like. And here's a large laundry bags. And the thing about these laundry bags here, they issue these mesh laundry bags in boot camp. You put your name on the bottom part right there, and that carries with you. So they know that that's your laundry. So they'll do that laundry, put it back in that bag, and you come pick it up later. Takes us all the way back to where we've been before, to the mess deck. Well, I think it's safe to say that we've done everything there is to do on the ship. We're going to go visit the gift shop now, see what they have to offer. And of course they've got Top Gun shirts, some t-shirts, some glasses here, and more t-shirts. If you want some grenade hot sauce, they've got that here for you. Here's some Stars and Stripes Java. 50% of the profit goes to the Semper Fi Fund. Got Pop Vinyl, Airman, all Air Force here, which is kind of odd considering this is a Navy ship. They don't have any Marines or sailors. They've got some toys here. They got plenty of mugs that you can pick up. There's some keychains here. There's some collectible spoons and bells. They got a boatswain's whistle. There's a compass and a pocket watch down below. And also for the kids, they have these stuffed airplanes. And the not so stuffed airplanes. These are actually die cast. Up over here they have a vast assortment of patches. Whenever I come out like this, I always look for a souvenir pin. They've got 3 designs to choose from. Probably gonna get this one right here. I like that one. USS Midway, San Diego. Yeah, this is really cool. That's a F4u4 Corsair in that globe. Well, that was a lot of fun walking around the USS Midway CV-41 here in San Diego. If you're a veteran, it's $18 to get in. If you're not a veteran, it's going to be a little more than that. If you're active duty, it's free. Another thing I have to say is get here early. Parking is at a premium. It's $10 to park at the Midway parking lot, but it fills up quickly. I got here about a half hour before the ship opened at 10. And there was quite a few parking spots. When I looked down there at 10:30, there were no parking spots. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and we'll catch you on the next one.